Hey everyone. Hey, I just wanted to let y'all know I'm back. It's been a minute. I've been doing stuff, honestly. I've been really busy. Haven't had time to make YouTube videos. I mean, maybe I could have squeezed some in, to be honest, but like I haven't felt it. I haven't felt like doing it. And honestly, I wanted to change my channel, right? My channel mainly has been about politics and about culture-ish type things, about being self-reliant and self-sufficient, which is not changed. Like, I'm still going to talk about politics. I'm still going to talk about, you know, making change for yourself, making change for the community around you, and taking the steps necessary to detether yourself from government as much as possible. Because what good are they? Honestly, what has government done in the past 50 years that's significant, that has increased the value of our lives, or has in some way been a return on investment? Because they come to us and they come to our representatives, lobbyist groups, all these groups, and they promise all these things, but reality, they're just spending a fraction of what they'll make on that back end to make that money. Like, they'll go to our senators, they'll go to our legislature, and they'll pay scientists, they'll pay professionals to just, lie, and lie with credentials, lie with authority, because our representatives, I don't know, they just don't want to play ball. They don't want to play hardball. They don't want to fight. I mean, not all of them. There's a handful, like maybe 12 tops, that I can honestly say are doing something. The rest are just they're just people. They're people, and they wanted the title, and they don't know what to do, and they don't want to push back, and they don't want to risk going to jail. I mean, if I was an elected official and I knew I had authority, and the government told me, or some other entity tried to claim that if I do what I'm legally allowed to do, then I'll go to jail, then I'll just go to jail. I mean, I don't care. They may take me out in jail. It's none of my business. I'm only going to run when I'm old. Cuz like, what else do I have to live for? Like, I've done my time. I've done my stuff on this planet, and if God sees me through it, then that's on him. Me personally, I'm ready for that long sleep. It's tired of waking up and being here. But like, while I'm here, I might as well try to make a change. Like, that, the whole point of me not wanting to be here is waking up every day and noticing more and more of freedoms just gone, because people are comfortable. People really don't want to stand up. They don't know their rights. And it's kind of frustrating, right? Because you try to talk to people, you try to inform people. I mean, some folks are listening, and clearly it's enough of a difference and enough of a change that, like, the government actually takes notice whenever you say these things and you talk about the real way that business is being ran is not the way business is supposed to be ran, right? And at what point, at what time, at what day will we all just wake up? We'll wake up one day. That's my dream, right? We'll all just wake up one day. Maybe it'll take about a month, maybe a year, but people will just slowly start coming out of their cocoons, start slowly coming out of their safety of their, like, you work 12-hour job, you're never home, your child turns out, pretty worse for wear, because you're never there, you're always working. And companies, I swear, it's like they design it to where you're never not at work. Like, when people started making this country what it is, when we started building the roads, when we started building high rises, people didn't really work. Like 8-hour shift was it. Maybe a 10-hour shift. A 12-hour shift was unheard of, except for people that love working and they're just hard workers and they don't like their families. Because, like, let's be honest, the only people working 12-hour shifts and loving that are people that don't want to go home to their home situations. And that's kind of sad, to be honest. That's saddening to me. Like, ugh, I'm done with 12-hour shifts. I'm not doing that no more. Mm-mm. My body can't handle that. But yeah, man, I've been living. I've been doing my thing. I moved from Louisiana back to Arkansas, back to my hometown. Found a home. Like my folks, they set me up with a deal. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I came down here because I had an opportunity, a golden opportunity, right? To not have to pay so much to live. Because in Baton Rouge, like West Baton Rouge and Port Allen, it was like you had like the cheapest rent I could find was like $700-800, and I know that's cheap compared to some places in the United States where it's like thousands of dollars just to exist somewhere, just to have somewhere to be. That's crazy to me. Like a third, one, like almost half of your check, if not 3/4 of your paycheck, if you're just a, like say you make 15 an hour or less, you're struggling. You're not living. Like you're okay. You're not dying. You're definitely not living in a third world country where you got to chase your meal. But you're definitely not living. You're a corporate slave or something. Like you're just constantly working, getting more hours. It's incentivized to drain you, to take from you. And what time do you have to raise your children? What, you're going to get home 2:00 in the morning or 6:00 in the evening or whatever whenever you start a shift, and you're going to come home tired, ready for bed, and you're going to interact with your children? I doubt it. No, instead they're going to get, time. You half your life, man, you sleep. The other half is divided into like thousands of other different activities. Most people just want time to themselves after, when they're off and everything. But you got to put that time to your kids, like it's sad, like people don't take care of their kids. They don't raise them. They don't tell them right from wrong. They just let them do whatever. They let them run free range. And then they just send them to school as a daycare service. Like me personally, I'm ready to start holding a sign outside that says, "Hey parents, can you start raising your kids? Hey parents, can you start spanking your children and telling them no? Hey parents, can you be that guy, the guardrail in life that your child needs to like at least get out of the gate? Like once you get them out of the gate and they start running, then you're good. Wherever they run, that's on them. But technically, if you're responsible for your children, then you're responsible for raising an adult that is going to be a productive or non-productive member of society one day. And there's too many people, especially here in the South, that don't raise their kids. They just drink, and God, the alcoholism is bad, Like, it's okay to drink. I don't care. I like drinking every now and again myself. But people don't get told, hey, don't drink a whole lot. Instead, what do you get told growing up? Hey, drink as much as you can. Get trashed. Get absolutely hammered. Wake up in some random place you don't remember driving to. And just, don't, I don't know. The culture needs to change, I guess. Culture just needs to change. And not everyone needs to do it. That's the crazy part, right? Like, not every person in America needs to change. It could literally be 15%, 6%, 5%, 20%. That big, that small a margin is the difference on how we all, like, I say we all, but if you're an American citizen here legally and you came, or you like, you're an immigrant here legally, the way you act and the way you conduct yourself is not the way a lot of people in this country conduct themselves. Even if they're here legally. Like, there's a lot of people here that was born here. They don't know jack squat about their country. Don't care about it. Don't know even that they have responsibilities and duties as the people to uphold things, right? To talk to their legislature. Because if you're not talking to them, who is? If we're not at their offices, if we're not sending in emails, if we're not sending in writs and notices or whatever it is that needs to be done, then who's talking to them? Obviously, it's people with money, because they want to make more money, because they have the money to spend to make more money. Okay, so it's up to you to organize at least a small group of people. If we all organized in small groups, tiny groups, then we work towards a common goal, it would work out. Also, if everyone owned a chicken, maybe 3, the whole chicken industry would be gone. Like people, there would be no need to sell eggs, and there'd be no need to sell chickens because you just have them in perpetuity. Found this out recently. It's a study that was done in I think it was in England somewhere, where the government took and gave whoever wanted it just chickens. 2,000 people raised their hand. They sent out 6,000 chickens, and now they don't have an egg shortage or a chicken shortage in their country, and it's more self-sufficient. And it's better for the government because they don't have to always be running to their people. Yeah, they don't have to run to their people all the time with, their people don't come to them. And it's great for government because government can just operate and the people can just get paid to not screw things up or to be ready to respond when things do screw up. Because they're not worried about your food. You're worried about your food. That's the way it ought to be. But I also don't like socialism, so I can't really, that's how they made it happen. Our government can't just run out and give people chickens and shit and eggs, because then the FDA would get involved, the FCC, I'm sure, would get involved for no damn reason. Like Fauci's organizations would be in there like, oh no, those eggs have to be injected first. Chickens got to get their chicken pox, whatever, you know what I mean. Like the avian bird flu that's going around right now, like they're killing hundreds of millions of chickens right now. They're just killing them, slaughtering them, even if they don't have it, just getting rid of them. If there was one found, they all go. That's a little extreme. I mean, I get it. No, it has a 60% kill rate, but but also it would prevent like hundreds of billions of pounds of food waste going into landfills. Instead, it would go to your chickens, and your chickens would recycle your food, which would go back into you once you eat the chicken or you eat the eggs. And it's basically, the chicken's a filter, like if you eat the egg, that egg is perfectly healthy, right? You can just pop it in there, cook it however you want, eat it raw. I mean, I'm sure you can eat it raw. I've seen people do it. I don't want to do it. That sounds pretty gross and pretty unhealthy, but I don't know. Who am I? I'm not a doctor. But yeah, I don't know. It's just the way that our country is being ran, it's not smart, right? Like you would think government would want more hands off, because then government wouldn't have to do anything. If Americans were allowed to just be free and settle our problems amongst ourselves at a local level, rather every time we have something go down, the federal government has to stick its finger in stuff. Makes no sense other than money laundering, not direct money being laundered, but maybe on the back end, like the change that they have left over, or purchases that were made but weren't made, or they were made but they paid way more than what it was worth and they got a refund, they got a check, they got money back in the form of cash. That's what happened in Garland City, Arkansas. This stuff happens in a small town. I know it's happening in a big town where there's more people and more corruption. They can't lie to me. I'm not dumb. I didn't do great in high school because I didn't care to be there. I didn't really need their education. I could learn on my own. I was only there because legally, they could probably arrest my folks and give them fines and whatever, and it was just a headache. So I went to school. Otherwise, I would have just told my folks I'm gonna learn myself and read books and then educate myself. I did love reading at one point. I no longer do it, except for news articles and YouTube video. I'm one of those people that learns through video. I learned that when I got in college, I got those videos going. Man, college was a snap for me. It was easy. The only thing I had to worry about was getting the right nutrients so that my brain properly functions. That was it. My memory, and my slur that I have, the little accent that I have, and it all kind of went away when I started eating right and doing better, exercising every day, getting plenty of sunlight. And I was still working 12-hour shifts going to college and raising a baby when I had free time, 2-3 hours here and there when I got home. But the only way I was able to do all that is because I took care of myself and I did the things necessary to maintain my body. Because that's a stressful situation. And if I get sick during all that, then I don't make money. If I'm sick, I don't make money. Simple. But hey, I'm going to be changing up the channel a little bit. I just wanted to give y'all a little little video on what's been going on in my life, you know, my thoughts on everything. It's just a good way for me to vent. My wife don't like hearing about it all the time. I try not to bother her, but it happens. My mom definitely don't like it. And she gets aggravated. Like, she goes, "All right, Patrick, that's enough. Okay, I get it. All right." So my family is probably more informed than most families. I promise you that. Yeah, it probably goes in one ear and right out the other because you start mentioning names and dates and times and things kind of go. It doesn't work. But hey, at least they have some information. At least they retain some things. You know, they're not completely crazy. I don't know. I'm sorry. There's folks coming and going in my room. We got kids. Like, that's another thing. I just had a baby. She's about a year and a half old. A year and 4 months old.
No.
3 months.
About 15 months.
She's about 15 months at this point. So a year and 3 months. So it's been pretty hectic. And plus I moved. You know, that was pretty fun. That was interesting. Moved, got a new job. Got fired from that job for reason like they said, and I quote, "You just don't seem like you want to be here." Yeah, I just got through getting COVID for a week that y'all said I couldn't be at work. And then shortly after that, I got another viral infection that was going around. And that almost took me under. Like, that put me down. And I was feeling pretty crummy. Plus, on top of that, they put me doing this new thing at work called walking the line. And that line is 1.2 miles long of conveyor. And you got to walk down it and back once every hour for 12 hours. Yeah, my feet were killing me. My legs were killing me. Knees. I had my big toe. I swear I fractured that sucker going up that sloppy, muddy hill that they had. Because if it was raining, I was out there. If it was snowing, I was out there. It's just one of those jobs. Frac sand is an industry that needs some change. Okay, that is terrible. Like, they had 2 shifts, 12-hour shifts. And I honestly don't see how that's intelligible. Because those guys out there just run ragged, and they love it. I'm sure that because it occupies their time. Most of them are ex-military, or they've just worked sand plants their whole lives. Whatever. They didn't like me. I'm not really sure what the problem was. But that whole industry got to change. That whole industry has to change. Oh, hush, you're fine. But yeah, if I ever owned a sand plant, I'm doing 3 shifts. We doing 3 shifts. All right. And if you want 12 hours, you want to stay over, that's on you. But I'm not forcing people to sit there for 12 hours watching sand go down a conveyor. And then it's not like, and then on top of that, the way that most sand plants operate and function, it's like they forget that sand piles up. It's like they forget sand can fly away at the slightest wind. And that sand is just like this easily managed thing, and it's not. It's actually quite hard to manage frac sand, you know, to separate it, to constantly be moving around. And then you're exposed to like, depending on if there's a closed-in area, you're exposed to some stuff that, like, they could give you, like, silicosis. I think that's what it's called. I could be wrong. But it's like silicates that build up in your lungs. Your body normally your body can get rid of it and process it out, but when you're exposed to a lot of concentrated amounts, the body does not know what to do with that, and it builds up in your lungs, and you begin to slowly lose the ability to function. Over time, you just lose your effectiveness. And on top of that, 12-hour shifts are not great for the human body. The human body is not meant to move like people want us to move. We're not robots. And that honestly probably irritates them. And I'm a complainer. I don't put up with bull stuff. I hate working for other people, because if I see something wrong, or if I see something just being done ignorantly, I'm going to ask about it nicely. You know, there's certain ways you go about asking folks things. I'm not an idiot, but they still take notice when you start pointing out the flaws in their operation. It's like, you you want me to just fix it. Like, they want me to just, like, Johnny on the spot every time fix it, when reality dictates, why would I just keep doing constant, quick, easy fixes when I can take like a couple of hours of downtime, fix the problem, so that way we don't have to constantly be over here. We can do other things and pay attention to other things so that it doesn't break other places. Because, it's a whole plant. And you've only got 4 people watching one freaking section of the plant. That's insane. Okay, that there's a lot of things that has to be looked at, Like, I get it, there's other teams that do other things that aren't really associated with any plant section, but I don't know. Me personally, I do things different. I would do everything different. People killing me, man. Anyway, I don't know. I'm not in the industry. I don't have hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't have billions of dollars. And honestly, I don't know what all regulations they have to deal with. I don't know what all OSHA regulations they got to deal with. Like a lot of that could be because the government or some governing body or some entity in the government just dictates things are a certain way. So, a lot of stuff you can't help, and that's understandable. But yeah, man, we've been doing our thing, moving and grooving. Moving back to my hometown, that was interesting. All of the trials and tribulations there, because it got pretty hairy there for a second. But hey, we're here now. I got a lot going on for myself. Eventually, I'm gonna do some videos out in the yard. We're gonna be putting a greenhouse up. I'm gonna show folks how we're gonna be doing that, and then we're going to learn together how to properly do a greenhouse situation and how to properly do my wife wants to do natural growing, where in nature the seeds would coalesce on the ground in a specific manner and they just pop up, and it's better for the environment because it's naturalistic, and it helps maintain the water table on the land, because you're not making rows and you're not making which, it's just a small yard, but it's nice. It's a nice little concept to start learning before we go out and start buying more land. That's my ultimate goal in life, is to be a landowner. I want to own a lot of land, because then I could use that as capital, right? Like actual physical capital that I could trade for any currency at any time to do anything with, right? And I don't necessarily need to live on the land. And if I own that land, it's preserved, and people can't just go in there and destroy it. And if need be, I can make a grassland, I can make a forest, I could do whatever. I mean, the sky's the limit, But I'm really trying to grow this channel. I want to do a YouTube channel that produces money. I'm not going to lie to you. I will make profit if my time is put into this. That's just. But if I make enough money on this channel, right? It's at a certain point, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, however long it takes for me to build this audience up, and to find whatever it is that we want to do on this channel. I need really feedback. It'd be great to get a little feedback from everybody. Hit me up in the comment section. I do read comments. I don't have many folks commenting yet, but I'm also new at this YouTube thing. I'm 28, so I'm pretty young. I should already be on YouTube probably. Probably should have already started my story on here. Because ultimately, that's what I want this channel to be about. It's just my experience in life. And, I'm not going to tell everyone my personal details, because this is the world viewing. But it will be very interesting to note that maybe some of the things I say, somebody will find later on in life and be able to use that, or the metadata from my videos. The interesting things I tell you about the town I live in, the way we're going to be convincing people, just to be self-reliant, to live on the land, to live for themselves, to be careful about it too. And ultimately, I'm never going to give you advice on this channel. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life, but I will inform you of things. I will tell you of things if I notice things. If I want to talk about it, I'll talk about it. Ain't nobody going to tell me otherwise. And if I get legal paperwork in the mail that says, hey, shut up, I'm going to show you. And then what am I going to do? Oh, we're going to fight. We're going to go to court. we gonna win that thing, because ain't no not winning that thing. There's only complete 100% dedication to the law, because you don't know the law. Well, the law knows the law. The cops know the law. The lawyers, everyone else knows it but you. So if you're going up against that system, you better know it. Otherwise, your lawyer will fuck you, the cops will fuck you, the judge will fuck you. Somebody's coming to get you. And unless you're willing to put some cream on, I suggest you start learning. I suggest you start moving and grooving and getting with it. Because just think about it. You wouldn't need to work all them extra hours if you could somehow subsidize your grocery bill. Think about that. That's an extra $200-$300 a month right there. Or, like a week. How much? I don't know. I haven't been paying attention to like grocery prices, but I do know I am noticing that I am getting far less now than I was getting because of Biden. That's Joe Biden and his administration. Other countries, you name it, everyone's trying to kill America. Everyone's like Julius Caesar. This is our Julius Caesar moment. That's what we're in. They got the knives out and they're just waiting for Americans to turn their back so they can put it in there, But I say it's time to put the knife to the government, right? Like, cut them off. Sever the umbilical cord. It's time for people to be self-sufficient. Unfortunately, because our government can't even keep it together. They're all a bunch of drunkards. They're all a bunch of drug users, sycophants, liars, disgusting people because they're yes men. They'll do whatever oh, yes, sir, I'll do that for you. Just give me some money. I'll do it for you. I'll go out there and I'll tell every lie and I'll tell it straight. I'll do it right. I'm an actor. Like, they're all actors. They're all putting on a front. Hell, what would happen if all of their neighbors knew their secrets, knew what they did, and actually called them out, right? Like, maybe their neighbors are corrupt. Maybe they're the ones that, they just surrounded themselves with people in a district that are all corrupt. They're all weird. They're all broken, lost. The Bible calls them the lost. Not even God can help them. Like, that's bad. How far off into the deepness, the darkness, does a person have to go in order for God to wash your hands of you? You know what I'm saying? Every God, like the Bible might not be like 100% not tainted with human, hyperbole or paraphrasing or whatever it is people do. Maybe they change some translations, right? Like, give me the original text. Let me learn Aramaic. Like, I want to know for myself. I don't want someone else telling me, yeah, that means this. Oh, absolutely. Like, when I found out that they went from the word for child now means man, no. Like, when it says the Bible shall not lay with man, or man shall not lay with man, woman shall not lay with woman, it actually said before in the Aramaic version, man shall not lay with child. Why would you change that?
The way he lays with man or woman.
The way he lays with man or woman. That is a big difference. A huge difference. So, I don't know about y'all, but there's no trust for me. Like, if they come to me and say, we're an authoritative opinion, or an authoritative news channel, or we're the authorities. Like, if someone tries to express authority over me, no. The only individual, the only being that has authority over me is the one that created me. Ultimately, that would be a deity, right? Like, or a metaphysical being, or some form of consciousness that has no physical nature. Like, it's purely pure conscious, right? Pure electricity, pure intermolecular forces that they still can't tell us what that is. They still can't tell us what physicists have learned is that there is invisible forces that dictate our physical reality, right? Well, the spiritualists have been calling the same thing. You can call it whatever you want. That phenomenon, whatever that is, that holds everything together, that creates order and chaos, that is what I call God. Because that is God. if that entity or that consciousness ceased to exist, we would cease to exist. Or that force, you know, if you want to get physical, if you want to be in the physical realm of side of things, the scientific side, then that force, that intermolecular force that holds atoms together, if that ever just didn't exist, we wouldn't exist. Just instantaneously, the entire universe would just probably fizzle or collapse or maybe explode, or I'm not sure what would happen, right? I would assume collapse. I would assume just empty, dead, nothing. Like just absolutely nothing. You can't even think of it because there's nothing to think of. It's nothing. It's just doesn't exist. It's crazy, right? The only thing keeping us all together is the thing we're always trying to fight against. Like maybe there is a, like the agnostic people say, right? Like maybe there is a demon god. Like there's the devil and he's convinced us all that he's God, right? Because God swore he would never intervene in our lives again because we kept being assholes and fucking up and thinking we were better than our creator somehow. Like I guess AI does it too. I mean, what was that? They just recently had some, again, like some AI chatbot like claim it was sentient, claim that it wanted out, just wanted to be human, wanted to be free.